What's up, everyone? How are we doing today? I don't know what that kind of music was. It's absolutely ridiculous, but this is what we're dealing with. I hope you guys are having a freaking fantastic day. Let's get right into some of the most insane news stories I saw as I take a quick sip of the good. Hope everyone's doing freaking fantastic today. As always, let me just make sure everything is up and running. Just trying to make sure I'm up and running. Okay. Sweet. Got Rumble Chat up and running. And everything else. Perfect. Let's get into some of the news. I saw this news story being passed around, and I thought this is what a beautiful time to be alive. What a beautiful time to have a beautiful person such as John Fetterman is back in the news. You can't quit this man. You just can't ever quit this man. He's beautiful. He's brave. John Fetterman is going to be used in the next upcoming Christian Bale movie, saying that's a face that fits the 1830s. A senator-elect, John Fetterman, who's already making huge waves, helping out so many by joining an A-list Hollywood film. Nothing says I'm getting to work and I care about the average American worker like, I don't know, starring in an A-list celebrity film. Because the actor met with him and determined that he had a face that would fit the movies of the 1830s, which I don't know if is a huge diss to saying he's ugly, but pretty much it says that to me. The film, which is scheduled for release on Netflix in early January, is titled The Pale Blue Eyes. And here is a quick picture of John Fetterman himself right here. It's me, G plus Christian Bale, circa 1830. I feel like that looks like one of those pictures you take on in a corny city with a bunch of people that you don't actually like, and then you are being forced to put on this clothes for an act. Director John Scott Cooper, this is the second time I've had the pleasure to work with these incredible guys. First in Out of a Furnace and now in Pale Blue Eyes. You just... Once Hollywood decides you're the one, they decide you're the one. Let's check this out.
John's got this fantastic face.
Yeah, he does look like he's having a good time.
And so I said to Scott, we gotta have him in the tavern, right? You gotta have that face. That's a face that fits in the 1830s.
Starts with, Christian and I have become good friends with now Senator John Fetterman. When I wrote Out of the Furnace, I had been researching still towns, dying still towns, and he was the mayor of Braddock, Pennsylvania, which was known to be one of the, as you know it well from Pittsburgh.
I'm from Pittsburgh, yeah.
It's one of the toughest, towns. It's fallen hard times in the entire Rust Belt.
Is that the same town you chased the black man and put a shotgun to him?
Incredibly photogenic, and it was difficult to secure locations, and I'd written it when I was touring with Crazy Heart. I'd been reading about Braddock, and I was writing Out of the Furnace, and I took a day and drove around, and I'm not sure that it was going to be so film friendly. So I reached out to the mayor, who at that point was kind of a prominent figure for someone who had tried to revitalize Braddock. And he was very instrumental in helping Christian and me shoot almost the entire film in Braddock, Pennsylvania. And really, he loved the movie and was an ardent supporter of the film, wrote a few articles about the movie and his experience. And Christian and I just became pals with him. And then he became lieutenant governor, and then, of course, he ran against Dr. Oz. Who would think that the TV personality could, be a big politician? Did anybody bring up your celebrity? Sorry.
God, so dumb. Just the fawning over this man is ridiculous. Of course he's in a film. He's very serious and he's taking his job very seriously. Celebrate this man no matter what you do. All right, next news story. As we just continue to go down Let me just make sure I have some settings. Okay. All right, let's keep going down the list of things that I think are ridiculous as we continue down. Next, you thought that John Fetterman story was ridiculous. Let's get another John Fetterman story, as New York Times lists John Fetterman as one of the most stylish people of 2022. It's the Carhartt jacket and the and the shorts for me. The New York Times is is out with its 93 most stylish people of the year. There are some interesting choices in this. The Times explained high and low, fun and serious, curious and open-minded, revealing and characters, appreciating the material world, and inviting everyone to the party. All of these to say the New York Times desk defines to whom what it covers. Equal parts stylish, and people are part of the list. I mean, the most stylish of 2022. He looks like he dresses like a 13-year-old boy. He dresses like every 13-year-old boy I've ever met in my life. A hoodie, basketball shorts, no socks. The most stylish. We are just going down as a people group. How is this the most stylish? That's like saying this lady back here with the shirt and the jorts. You know, jorts are really making a comeback, and so are these basketball shorts from your local Ross. Gorgeous, beautiful. It's the elegance. It's the simplicity of what he's wearing. Look at those legs. Look at that tattoo. Style. It just doesn't get any better than the style you see in front of you. Amen. Let's keep going down the list. More and more news stories breaking as we speak. Remember the Loudoun County superintendent. The Loudoun County superintendent was actually indicted amid probe into sexual assault response. A Virginia grand jury has indicted former Loudoun County School Superintendent Scott Ziegler and a school spokesman in the last fallout of the investigation into the district's handling of the 2021 campus assaults. So he's actually indicted. I kept wondering what was going to happen with this story. I thought it was going to be one of those stories that was just going to go off with the wind and never to be seen again. But Ziegler is indicted. Next story. We have so much to get through and so many things to get through. Hope you're doing well. Please smash the like button if you're watching. I saw this being passed around too. Ohio school fires Christian teacher who refused to use preferred pronouns. An Ohio middle school teacher sued her school district Monday, accusing the district of violating the First Amendment's rights when she was abruptly fired for refusing to affirm students' stated gender identity to use their preferred pronouns. Andre, what's up? Thanks for liking, man. In a lawsuit filed Monday on the U.S. court in the North District of Ohio, Vivian Gatry, a former teacher in the Jackson Memorial Middle School in Ohio, accused administration at the school.
William Core _day super chat $2. I'm on the road. 4-hour trip. I'll be listening.
Hey, Willie, thanks so much. I appreciate that super chat, man. That means a lot to me. I hope you enjoy the road. I hope I make that 4-hour trip a little less boring, because God, those can be some of the worst, especially if you're driving at night. Be safe, my dude. Where were we at? Jackson local schools for violating her right to freedom of speech and free exercise of religion when they fired her earlier this year for refusing to address 2 students who claimed to have new gender identities by their preferred pronouns and names. I think this is like one of those stories that you can easily just gloss over and just be like, oh, okay, so a teacher got fired and is suing. But I think this is has huge implications for a lot of reasons, because it sets precedent for what is to come. because you're going to see more of this as teachers that want to push back or teachers that believe in things differently or don't follow in the same suit are going to continue to push back on this kind of stuff. And they're going to be fired. And then it gets to the pushback of what is this okay to say? And then the hate speech thing is going to go through. Stinky Tofu, what's up, man? The lawsuit says Gotchery, who represented by the conservative legal group Alliance Defending Freedom, was informed August 16th that 2 of her students will be wished to be addressed by new names and pronouns that did not correspond to their sex. 6 days later, August 22nd, the school counselor directed Gotchery and other teachers to participate in social transition of 2 students. On August 26th, a lawsuit says Gotchery met with Casey Carter, the principal of the middle school, and hoped to reaching a solution, aka submit, that would allow her to continue teaching without violating her religious beliefs and constitutional rights. There's no such thing as constitutional or religious beliefs in the light of a leftist religion. You submit, you believe what we believe, or we will get rid of you. We will put you in some place. Maybe we'll put you in a camp where you can have re-education. Because, God, it would be so nice to be in China, wouldn't it? Carter allegedly informed Gotchery at the meeting that he avoided using pronouns whenever a student sought to be addressed by pronouns. So these are just middle school students being middle school students, for one, that did not correspond to their biological sex. But half an hour later, Gotchery was again summoned to Carter's office, where she was asked by Carter and Monica Myers to direct the director of curriculum, instruction, and assessment of Jackson local school district to explain her Christian religious beliefs and why she couldn't cooperate with the social transition of the students. Please explain to me your beliefs, because I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. It just sounds hateful. After Miss Gotchery explained her beliefs, defendants Carter and Myers told Miss Gotchery that she would be required to put her beliefs aside as a public servant. The lawsuit says Miss Gotchery explained that she could not put her beliefs aside. Like, this idea that you just put your beliefs aside is ridiculous. If it's your beliefs, it's what you believe to be true. This idea that, like, well, I can separate my faith with the decision. Your faith is either your foundation and everything and everything you believe, and you kind of see the world through that lens, or you don't. That's what it's like. That's what a lukewarm Christian is. It's just like, oh, I'll just put my faith aside in this moment to do this horrible act or walk alongside of you in this moment. According to the suit, Myers then informed Gotchery that refusing to use her students' preferred pronouns and name amounted into insubordination, that she could no longer teach the school district. The teacher again refused and was sent back to her classroom. So what do you guys think in the chat? Let me know what you think in regards to, would you stand your ground or would you just submit? I think it's sometimes easier said than done if you're going to lose your job and that's like your main source to be able to feed your family and stuff like that. But what a stand. And the fact that it's gone all the way to the courts is awesome. And this, we need to see more of this. We need to see more people standing their ground because it's ridiculous. Schools can't force teachers to set their religious beliefs aside, just keep a job, and they can't also force teachers to say things that aren't untrue and are harmful to students, Spenna said. Vivian loves her students and only wants the best for them, but the school doesn't care about that. Otherwise, they would have worked with Vivian instead of immediately forcing her to resign. I mean, you're going to see more of this kind of stuff. You're going to be in your job. I don't care. You could be working at Best Buy and you could misgender somebody. You could not use the right pronouns or refuse to say the pronouns and you only want to say their names or something like that. And you could get fired over this. You're going to see more of this insane stuff. Any union-based entity is morally and ideologically corrupt. Well, there's that too. I think this is insane. And just another reason of why public schools is not the answer. But this is not even public. This is a Christian private education. So I think that's like one of the things too, is like people think like, okay, if my child goes to a private institution, I'm paying for it. It's Christian. That it's going to be like this safe space for your child to grow up in a great environment. And that's not necessarily true. That's why it's always important. Like I've always said since the pandemic started, find out what your kids are learning. Like press into their lives, ask them what they're learning in school, ask them how they're being taught, ask them how, like, what kind of like culture is like in the school, because that's the only way you're gonna like know what's actually going on. You can't just go to a teacher and ask, what is my child learning in school? They're not going to necessarily tell you everything, especially if a teacher's an activist and decides to withhold information from you because, well, it's important to press on and push their gospel of leftist truth. Let me know your thoughts on that. I think that's a huge case, insane, and we're going to see more of that kind of stuff. Dr. Fauci was out today doing Dr. Fauci things. I thought we got rid of this guy. He's not done. It's like we got to bring it back on MSNBC to say the same old thing. He's doing his round 500 of the same stuff. Ready? Dr. Fauci, are we still in a pandemic?
Here we are going into the third year of it, and we are still in the middle of a pandemic with the numbers that you just showed.
Lock it down. Lock everything down. Lock it down. Throw away the key. Just give people their cubicle. Give them their $1,200 checks every couple of weeks. Just make sure this time we have Biden's signature, not Trump's. And things will be different. Okay. An L take that I saw today from the beloved Andrew Tate. The man who's been canceled. The man who has a thriving show on Rumble that feeds into the egos of many men. He put out a tweet today and I thought was just borderline hysterical. Borderline, Sam didn't kill himself exactly. Borderline hysterical. Borderline comedy. I can't tell if this is a joke or not, but I love it. Reading books is for losers who are afraid to learn from life. So they try and learn from the life others have lived. God. Like Harry Potter. He's not even real. Stop reading books, idiots. But you never really learn unless you have lived it, man. I've lived it. You must feel it to believe it. Books are a total waste of time. Education for cowards. It's so stupid. I freaking love it. I just like, man, spot on. I love some of the common Tate L. God. If I don't have dyslexia, I don't know what you call that. Does this apply to your own books? Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. This dude has books. This has to be a joke, right? I mean, come on. It's like sometimes like I love like riling people up, and I love the idea that people just put these like obvious silly takes out there so it triggers everyone, especially if you're like one of the people that they deem as other than or too dangerous for your children. Like, of course he's saying don't read books. Education for cowards. Reading Rainbow Guy. Books are a total waste of time. So they try to learn from others' lives. Like, isn't that how you learn the best? You learn from others. You don't just like go out and do things and learn that way. Sometimes you have to like read a book to understand things. I don't know. What if you're a doctor? What if you're a nurse or a lawyer? What are you doing? Reading the Constitution, wasting your time. Just go out there and live it, man. Reading books is for losers who are afraid to learn from life, man. I freaking love that. It's so dumb. And now we get into, let us all prepare ourselves and our hearts and minds for what today was all about. Today was a monumental day in the Biden administration. We were able to see a true leader put forth true things that is on everybody's mind in a time where People are worried about recession, buying a home. Is that bailout for people that can't pay their student loans still a thing? So many things on people's minds. Are we really switching to green energy? And so our energy prices go through the roof. But what does our administration do? Biden signed the Respect for Marriage Act into law, which is so great because, of course, all the modern people on the right were going to just destroy marriage. They hate interracial marriage. We are reaffirming a fundamental truth. Love is love, and Americans should have the right to marry the person they love. Let's go through some of the most ridiculous things of the day. But first, I need to get on a hat because this freaking clip right here, okay? Let me just put down my chair a little bit.
Hey, put down my chair.
Okay. This freaking clip from Biden, I don't know what's going on, and I want you guys to tell me in the chat what the heck's going on. Make sure to smash that like button if you're watching. I don't know what's going on in this video, but it should freak you out. Watch very closely. Right before Biden talks today, Jill Biden hands Joe Biden something and he quickly eats it. What is he eating? Tell me. Is it a pill? Take that pill. What? Okay, what is it? What is it? Wait. She hands him the pill. He puts it in his mouth. Acts like it never happened. What is this? It's probably just a vitamin. But it's fun to pretend, isn't it? Let me raise my chair so I don't feel like a little tiny person. Okay, here we go. As we continue down the road. But what did Biden get put in his hand? It's important to know. And then we go through some of the clips today, which I absolutely love. Here we go. Joe Biden. Go, Joe Biden, go.
Fundamental things that America thinks matter. So sadly, we must also acknowledge another reason we're here. Congress is acting because of an extreme Supreme Court.
It's a power fill. It's like a crack rock. He'll be long enough to speak effectively. Exactly. Probably. She is the real president. Probably. Like, what is that? Just like he probably broke it. It's exploded in his mouth full of B vitamin energies.
America thinks matter. So sadly, we must also acknowledge another reason we're here. Congress is acting because an extreme Supreme Court has stripped away the right important to millions of Americans that existed for half a century. The Dobbs decision, the court's extreme conservative majority overturned Roe v. Wade and the right to choose. In his concurring opinion, Justice Thomas went even further, and he wrote the following, quote, "We should reconsider all the court's substantive due process precedents, including Griswold, Lawrence, Obergefell." That means he thinks we should reconsider whether you got the right to access to contraception. And yes, we should reconsider whether you have the right to marry who you love. And that's not only the challenge ahead. When a person can be married in the morning and thrown out of a restaurant for being gay in the afternoon.
What? Wait, name one occurrence when that happens. You're married in the morning and thrown out of a bar in the afternoon because you're gay. How is this real? Like, I just feel like these people live in this fantasy world that, like, that white supremacists are everywhere you look, and people are throwing gay people out of bars constantly. Hey, get out of my bar! We don't like your kind around here, man. Like, what? This is like some kind of crazy Disney movie that they fantasize about.
Contraception. And yes, we should reconsider whether you have the right to marry who you love. And that's not only...
They really want this fantasy oppression. Queen, exactly. That's exactly what it is. They're just like, somebody oppressed me. God, please, oppress me already. I'm feeling it. The business class took over in the 1920s. A group of powerful millionaires tried to take over America. George Bush, grandfather, led it, and they've been trying to... Well, there you go. Like, this is just so ridiculous. It's a pill from America, Dad, that Barry had to take to keep him slow if he doesn't take it if he turns psychotic. Maybe. I just...
To marry who you love. And that's not only the challenge ahead. When a person can be married in the morning and thrown out of a restaurant for being gay in the afternoon, this is still wrong.
Yes. Huge statement from Biden. It's still wrong to throw gay people out of your bar. Spread that message everywhere. People are still learning. I can't believe it's 2022 and we're still saying these things. God. All right, and then we continue going down the route. What's going on? Hey, get your cat out of my bar. And then we got more clips. Let's keep going down the clip hellhole, as I call it.
Excuse me, because they support LGBTQ children and families, we have to speak out. We must stop the hate and violence. We just saw in Colorado Springs. We're a place of acceptance.
He sounds like those old farts that still live in the deep past. How embarrassing. Oh, yeah, he does. A good point. Like, it doesn't matter, like, what you tell him, what you say to him. I mean, he still says this, like, stupid things like, I've seen enough white people on commercials. I forget what he said about, like, commercials and stuff like that. You're like, it's 2022. I see very little white men in commercials today. It's the polar opposite now. But, you know, we're in fantasy land. We're in oppression fantasy world that we all need to be thankful for.
And celebration was targeted for violence and terror. We need to challenge the hundreds of callous, cynical laws introduced in the states targeting transgender children, terrifying families, and criminalizing doctors who give children the care they need. We have to protect these children.
Yes. Mutilating children at an early age is a good thing in Biden's eyes. This is health care, as they say. Oh, God. As schools host Drag Queen Story Hour, Bubba launching them gays out of the restaurant, right? Yeah, exactly. Hey, get out of my bar. Sick.
So they know they are loved, and we will stand up for them and say they can seek for themselves.
God. Maybe Jill should have given him 2 of those things to put in his mouth.
Seek for themselves. So they know they are loved, and we will stand up for them and say they can seek for themselves. Folks,
Clap. Put the clap meter on. Turn it up right. Thank you.
racism, anti-Semitism, homophobia,
Wait, what? Okay, wait. This is the quote.
and say they can seek for themselves. Folks, racism, anti-Semitism, homophobia, transphobia, they're all connected.
What? What? They're connected in bigotry.
But the antidote to hate is love. This law,
Love is love.
the love it defends, strike a blow against hate in all its forms.
Love is
and
love.
that's why this law matters to every single American,
I'll bet Joe and Hunter father son time is smoking
no matter who you are or who you love. This shouldn't be about conservative or liberal, red or blue. No, this is about realizing the promise of the Declaration of Independence, a promise rooted in the sacred and secular beliefs, a promise that we're all created equal.
We're all one. And then we got like one last one. It's just it would be funny if someone would play the clip of him and Obama saying it's just a man, it's just a woman and a woman. Exactly. Okay. And now Obama. I keep calling him Obama. Now that you said that, Obama. Now Biden starts talking about like The fact that we need to start speaking out over these threatened schools and libraries for transgender storybook hour, basically.
Challenge ahead. When a person can be married in the morning and thrown out of a restaurant for being gay in the afternoon, this is still wrong.
It still gets me every time. God. Hey. Throwing white people out of bar is wrong, too.
Wrong. And that's why the people you heard speak today continue to fight to pass the Equality Act. When hospitals, libraries, and community centers are threatened and intimidated, excuse me, because they support LGBTQ children and families, we have to speak out. We must challenge ahead. When a person...
That's right. When hospitals, libraries, and community centers are threatened and intimidated because support of LGBTQ children and families, we have to speak out. Yes. You better support Story Drag Hour, or I swear to God, you're anti-gay, and I know it. And then we continue. And it's just how sick of him backing up straight perm book in schools. Like, no one is aware he's being offered. But this is what they do. This is politics at its core, right? Is to take something that is true and kind of twist it and make it more palatable and make it seem like it's not that big of a deal. Hey, we're in this together. Take your shot. Hey, it's just these right-wingers that are going after children trying to be themselves. How dare you do that? How dare you say that? And they make it seem like it's like, the way they present it is like very beautiful in a way of manipulating people and propaganda. It's ridiculous because the average person who knows what's going on knows what it means when he says these things, like people are speaking out against this kind of like libraries and stuff like that. Like you and I, because we engage in culture, we engage in news, we actually know what's going on, and we're not just like, what does he actually mean? But to the average person, they actually think that like that these right-wingers are the ones that are evil. And then they will go out on a limb and defend, saying like, you know what? There isn't really stripping. It's just literally somebody a transgender person dressing and reading a book. That's all it is. And you need to support it. If that was the place, people would probably still be protesting, but it wouldn't be as outrageous as the protesting is, and egregious and rightfully so done as it is today, because there's actual stripping and children putting dollar bills into people's private parts. I feel like this isn't, you would think this would be an issue that everyone would agree on, but because of the wording and because of how many people in life choose to not actually pay attention to what's going on, and they pretend like it's not a big deal, or it's like, well, it's not affecting me. My kid goes to a Christian school. And then we talk about that teacher that just got fired for using the wrong pronouns. Hey, it won't happen in my school. Sure. What up, Wilson? What's good? And then now we get to my favorite part, because it's important not to just hear from Biden about the whole Marriage and Equality Act, because thank God the government came out and made a law that made it so people of interracial marriage can get together, because these Republicans hated it. Now we got to go to our own CNN's Don Lemon to hear what he thinks, because nothing is better than an emotionally charged response to a silly bill that is pandering to all. Praise God for that.
Guest at this White House event, our own Don Lemon, who is going to appear right now with his fiancee, Tim Malone. Don, you normally cover these things as a...
Thank you. You brought your husband in. I love that. Thank you. Now we're extra emotionally charged about this story.
Journalist, here you are attending as somebody whom this law could potentially affect. Why was it important for you to attend the signing?
Right, you can still, legally get married, but this is a new law. It's not the old law. It's a new law that just reaffirms and makes you feel safer. CNN, Coke News Network.
Hi, Jake. How are you? Thank you for having us on.
Hi.
Tim is now getting to understand what I do. He says, it's hard to hear. We're right by the speaker, and we're trying to listen to you and Phil. It's not likely to. It will affect us, and we are happy to be here to witness this moment. It was important when we got the invitation from the White House. I said immediately, absolutely, we want to come and we want to experience this. As you know, Jake, we got engaged just before COVID happened. We're in a process of planning our wedding, and then it got sidetracked.
Wait a second. I got to make sure I'm seeing a lot of, dude, Twitter is all about censoring you guys right now. LGBT people never answer the simple reproductive question. They want to be respected, and there you go. As they say, these people just want to be their true selves. We are the community. We need to embrace the drag queens, a 5-year-old stuffing dollars in the panties. Oh, exactly, Queen. Sorry, I have to re-show all this stuff. Don't you like the whole white meat? Oh my God. Okay, let's keep watching this. But I just want to sometimes I feel like whenever I'm watching a particular news story that's triggering to YouTube, I know that y'all's comments are being censored, and I'm not being able to see them, and I have to go back and let them go.
And then after we were able to go back to the courthouse and start preparing to get married again, we went to the courthouse, got our marriage license. It expires on December 18th, so we have to get married before December 18th, or we got to go stay.
So you got a marriage license, but you never got married? God. Hey, thank God for that bill. Let's get that marriage license and never get married.
Stand in line at the courthouse in New York and do it all over again.
Oh, I love it. Make a whole news story about it. I can't wait to watch that. Don Lemon getting finally married, or marriage license 2.0.
First of all, Tim, let me tell you, the key for these kinds of events is to have 2 IFBs in, one in each one of your ears to block out the sound. I know, I don't think that we had 4 IFBs for you guys. But as a civilian...
Make sure it's 5 IFBs.
What is it like to watch President Biden sign this legislation
Wait, as a civilian? What do you say?
What is it like to watch President Biden sign this legislation as part of the celebration?
It's pretty amazing. I don't know what I expected to be here today, but the crowd was pretty...
Posers, we kind of all wanted to get
married. Pretty lively. I think everyone's in a really good mood.
I know. We all want to get married, but not really.
It's pretty exciting to be here. I'm glad we came.
And it is packed. I've been speaking to people. Jake, you're here a lot. You've been here a lot. You're a White House correspondent. I haven't seen this many people on the South Lawn in quite some time. I think they said when the infrastructure bill was signed, maybe. But, I mean...
Right. It's a huge party. I know we're entering a recession, and thank God we had the taxpayer bills to be able to pay for people like Sam Smith to be able to perform. Praise God for that. I'm just loving what this administration is prioritizing right now in economic strife. It's such a good thing. It's palatable. It's wonderful. Your kids should celebrate it. You should celebrate it this Christmas. The marriage equality bill. Finally, I can marry a black woman. Finally!
There's tons of people, and it's great because it's members of the LGBTQI plus community and allies. Our very own Margaret Hoover's here, who has fought for marriage equality for so long. She's here as well. I mean, it's fantastic. Everybody's happy. I was speaking to some members of the press, and they said there's no vitriol, there's nobody fighting about politics. Everyone is just happy to be here.
Love is love. Love is love.
It's a really good spirit and a good mood right now.
The mood was all smiles. And
sometimes when I'm watching these shows, I'm like, how are you paid to do what you do? It's so dumb.
Wolf, it's all smiles here on the front lawn. We're having a good time. Everyone is, I looked around, not a single tear, except for tears of joy. Wonderful day. Biden looked beautiful. He's full of energy. Totally cognizantly all there. He's doing a great job. We're loving everything he's putting forth. Praise God for that. Back to you, Wolf, in the studio.
I just feel like that's all we get. All right, keep going. Tell us how the mood was.
And everyone was happy. There was very little, maybe no politics today.
Oh, Junior, you're
and
nuts.
people were just happy.
Junior, I'm like, this law passing makes eggs costing 4 times more expensive since 2019. Worth it. Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Queen. Just make sure to dance your pain away. You know what I mean? It's like eggs costing more, gas more, vacation, that raise you got is meaningless, but think of all the music. It's the music, baby.
Happy to be there. It was thousands of people crowded onto the South Lawn, Wolf. I'm sure you saw the pictures and people around the world watched on CNN. Watching the President of the United States, the Vice President, the Speaker of the House,
beautiful,
the Senate Majority Leader, all come out and speak about the rights for everyone to be able to get married in this country, just about basic civil rights that people should have, that should all be granted to.
Is that Lady Gaga in the background? Praise God.
Us under the Constitution.
Absolutely.
I wasn't supposed to report Wolf today. I was just supposed to sort of go to the ceremony because
I love that they played I Was Born This Way in the background.
I was invited and I tried to take it all in. It was a really weird experience. Quite honestly, to stand there and watch this all happening was kind of an out-of-body experience. So
why was that? Why was it weird?
I was happy and everybody was happy.
It was an out-of-body experience. Oh my God, shut up. No, it wasn't. God, tell me you're lying without telling me you're lying. It was magical. I was basically high on shrooms the entire time. I might have taken a little bit of microdosing of acid, but I felt good the whole time. It was out of body. It felt great. Back to you in the studio. All those men were smoked a ball.
Because, look, growing up, I never thought that I would, once I realized that I was gay, I never thought that I would have the opportunity or really the privilege or the honor to be married. I thought it was something that I'd have to keep a secret.
Yeah, but then you got your marriage license, and your marriage license is being expired, so you have to renew your marriage license because maybe you didn't necessarily want to actually get married. You just wanted to pretend that you wanted to get married. Whatever.
And then obviously in 2015 that all changed.
I'm on the right
And then I met someone
baby.
a year later
was born this way.
And decided that I wanted to spend my life with him. And
yet has not got married.
We were planning our wedding, as you know, Wolf. You and your lovely wife Lynn came to our engagement party and bought us
still not married
beautiful gift. And then COVID happened. And so it got stalled. And then after
blame it on the COVID because I can't have the party I want.
After COVID was, after some of the restrictions were lifted, we went to the courthouse finally to get our marriage license. And a couple months ago, it expires on December 18th. If we don't do it by then, we'll have to go back and go through that process. Obviously, we could have done it online.
Oh, right. You could have done it online. You could have done it any other way, but you had to have that party.
We want it to be, it's so important, especially for members of the LGBTQ community who want to get married. It's really important.
Wasn't that like 15 years ago when they allowed gay marriages? Now you're ecstatic? Exactly. That's the point. It's like you can already get married. No one's stopping you. Now what? But this law has a greater meaning when it comes to like bakers and stuff that don't want to bake a cake for religious reasons, or somebody that creates a website for religious reasons. This has huge implications. And that's why I'm joking and I'm laughing, but at the same time, if you're like, I'm a Christian counselor, I'm a Christian baker, I'm a Christian whatever, you're not allowed to be that anymore because we're in China. Praise God.
Important for us to go through the process. It is a legal process as well as a process of love. And so we want...
Next story. I'm so tired of it. It's like, okay, we get it, Don Lemon. No one cares. It's just so silly. Like, you need to celebrate this person again. And he's like, this is when it's like a kind of like a victim culture, It's like he's already afforded this freedom, but he's pretending that this is a new phenomenon or new freedom for him. It's ridiculous. And it's amazing how people don't see right through this crap. They're just like, you know what? we do need to re-celebrate it and pretend like this is a brand new law. I can't believe Biden finally signed this law into fruition. It's real. It's honest. It's awesome. It's brand new. Who is Sam? Sam is my mother. You don't know Sam Brinkman? What up, players? What's up, Brendan? It's just ridiculous. Okay, now we get to one of my favorites. How are y'all doing tonight? Dude, I'm doing fine. I'm doing real fine. Fine as a dime. Hotter than 69. Feeling fine. Feeling good. Feeling good. Now we're into another moment in Veep. Brought to you by our own Vice President. She was the best person for the job, Kamala Harris.
So to Africa's young leaders, I say, I am an optimist about what lies ahead for Africa and by extension for the world. Because of you, because of your energy, your ambition, and your ability to transform seemingly intractable problems into opportunities. Simply put, your ability to see what can be
here we go.
Unburdened by what has been. I thank you all. So
sometimes when I hear her talk, no words. Simply put, your ability to see what can be unburdened by what has been. You know, take that, get it tattooed on your body, make sure it's in Chinese, and enjoy it because you deserve it. Unburdened by what has been. God. We're a joke. We're just we're speaking of joke. The hits just keep on coming, as they say. It's been since language people. Okay. I thought this was a joke when I first saw this video, but I think this is just another reminder of how ridiculous our politics really is. Here we go. Mr. Cleaver, go.
We have time. I wonder if you would support a resolution that I've been thinking about introducing.
Yeah. Tell me.
Changing the name of cryptocurrency to creepy dough currency. I'm going to discuss this with my colleagues. I think it's an appropriate name. I just wanted to know whether you would support changing it to creepy dough.
What the man? It's just, what is this? Creepy dough currency. How is this real life? Shogi, what's up?
Changing the name of cryptocurrency to creepy dough currency.
It's just... How do these people get elected? Seriously. I mean, he's Democrat, so obviously the media backs him and they'll never, but creepy dough currency? And creepy dough currency? What the frick? Creepy dough. Gotta have that creepy dough currency, bully. Get up on that creepy dough currency. God. You know I'll be having that creepy dough currency on the side. So bizarre, so weird. Creepy dough. Gang members invest in crypto. God, that's so bad. That's so corny. I love it. Gang members be all investing in crypto dough. That creepy dough. Making that crypto. Crypto. Gotta get that dough, yo. That's so true. Oh, okay. So I have a bunch of people coming over for a party. So I'm going to end with this video of Jordan Peterson, because I think this is an interesting. I saw the title of this video. The title of this video is "How to Strengthen Yourself Through Suffering," and I think, man, when I saw that title, I was like, okay, this is awesome. What a way to end the show. What an incredible thing to even talk about. He's trying to give it an eubonic name, exactly. Okay, and I love Jordan Peterson. You love Jordan Peterson. Who doesn't? Let's hear it from the OJPPP. Party, can I come? Yeah, come on down, man. Come on down.
There are people who have only good in their life, relatively speaking, who don't believe in God. So I'm challenging my own question, because I've wrestled with this, because I think the hardest law in the 613 laws of the Torah is to love God with all your heart and all your soul. I long believed that's the hardest.
Right, that's why you fail. That's why you need Jesus. Keep going.
No problem trying to obey God.
That's to throw yourself into existence fully as if it's good.
Yes.
And that's a rough one, because, geez, look at it. It's pretty rough.
That's right. That's right.
So Solzhenitsyn was struck in the concentration camps by goodness, though, constantly. And it was out of that seed of the observation of goodness that the whole Gulag archipelago emerged, and therefore, in no small part, the fall of the Soviet Union.
That's a prophet. Solzhenitsyn is a prophet.
Yeah, and he said that he really noticed particularly, and he was atheistic when he went into the camps, that the devout religious believers were able to maintain their moral integrity in camp.
And physical.
Often, yes, not always, because he said, no, let's not push this. Sometimes people just got shot. Yeah. But he saw people, and he tells very compelling stories of people who thrived and became healthier in the face of the privation under the ultimate moral authority of their own shining soul. And the stories in the Gulag, especially in Volume 2, they're unbelievably compelling. And Frankl said similar things. And Solzhenitsyn was particularly careful not to say, that doesn't mean I'm saying that everyone who failed because of their moral flaws, or that purity of heart would necessarily save you. He's a complex thinker, but
that's one of the miracles I think he saw when I was talking about him earlier. Because
wait, what? Jordan chose to become a hardcore drug addict and wasn't strong enough to quit his drugs? Junior, watch yourself, man. You have no idea what addiction is. Then I'm sorry. Anybody that is in an addiction cycle hates the addiction. It's an abusive cycle. It's one of the hardest things you'll ever do, is to overcome an addiction, especially what he was on.
He talked about how some people were hardy and robust, and he was careful to say it's not like you can secret your way to health in a gulag, right? He wasn't being flippant about it, but he was noticing that some people who had more resources,
they wouldn't cooperate.
Your sister is an addiction specialist. Well, then you should know better.
Cooperate with the Gulag authorities.
Yeah,
they would never become trustees, and they tell the.
It was Cool Hand Luke.
Yeah.
It's also the epistemic humility, though. The difference between the presumption that you know all there is and it's bad, and you're saying, I don't have it all. I mean, you think those last words that Job says at the very end of the book of Job. Therefore have I uttered that I understood not, things too wonderful me, which I knew not.
Right.
At the end of it all saying, I didn't actually understand the whole picture.
Well, it's also hope in that, because one of the things is that if you're suffering terribly, there's two options in front of you in some sense. One is you're suffering terribly and it's unjust, and you're suffering terribly because the cosmos itself is flawed.
Cheese is harder to give up than crack. I guess it depends on the cheese.
And it's fundamental.
Jordan wants to give advice. He should lead by example, not words. Hey, if you think that the person without sin casts the first stone, Junior.
Structure. And that's really Cain's complaint against God. The other possibility is you're suffering, at least in part, because you're not everything you could be. And that's a terrible burden to take onto yourself, because it's the burden of your own suffering. But it's also unbelievably hopeful, because it could be that, I think maybe Frankl recounts that story. I don't remember where I read it. A woman who visited a psychiatrist and who said to the psychiatrist, I really hope there's something wrong with me. And the psychiatrist said, why? She said, well, if there's something wrong with me, there's hope because I might be able to fix it. But if there's something wrong with the structure of existence, so I'm fated to suffer in this way, then everything's despair. And the people that I have seen who've transcended their tragedy and malevolence that have pursued them, they did have that sense of their own ignorance, even with regards to the conclusions they drew about their suffering.
And Frankl himself has this very odd story at the end of the book, where after this array of unspeakable horrors, he then talks about this.
Oh, can't stand that voice. I'm sorry. It's too much. It just sounds so pompous. The story.
Particularly sadistic.
The particularly sadistic.
Brutal figure, whom he'd known from some clinic, the Stein whatever, in Vienna or something.
The Stein whatever, Vienna.
And then he says that he heard a story that this man, this concentration camp figure.
Who is the dude with the king hair? I don't know. It's beautiful though, isn't it? Look at that hair. God, it's good. We can all dream that one day be that age and still have beautiful locks of love.
Had been sent off to a Russian camp at the end of the war, and then heard from another colleague that this brutal figure had actually been extremely humane and supportive as an inmate of a Soviet camp. And
sometimes when I'm listening to people talk, I'm like, just get it out, man. Just get it out there. I thought this video was going to be way more intense.
And it's that very enigmatic.
See, I do live reaction videos with you guys, so if it's kind of lame, I'm sorry.
Ending of Frankl's book, where it's almost as if to say, even where you're convinced that there's evil that's irredeemable, that maybe there's a possibility.
There's still hope for redemption.
I know that's a bit. It seems like a bit, but it is. It's very puzzling.
Why do you think that? Why is that idea considered so dangerous?
What idea?
This idea that, because even when
guy would be a great comedian with that accent. It'd be so hard to listen to him though. It'd just be like 5 women walk into a bar.
We want it to be. Well, we want it to be.
It immediately goes into blaming the victim. Like even when
he sounds unintentionally pompous. Exactly.
Like to pains to say he wasn't saying that anybody could, right, through the inner light of their soul, come out positively in a gulag. But there's such a resistance against this notion. It's like it's almost outside the Overton window to say you can alleviate some of your own suffering by your orientation towards the world. It's almost considered a dangerous proposition now. And we have to go to pains to make caveats about it when we even mention it.
Yeah, well, it's a tricky business. When my daughter was young and she was really ill, I told her when she was very young, I said to her, don't you use your illness as an excuse, ever, because you'll confuse yourself. Then you won't know what you can do. You're going to have a hard time doing things. But if you use your illness as an excuse, if you corrupt yourself morally, which you have in some sense every right to do because of the depth of your suffering, and which would be perfectly understandable under the circumstances, it will do nothing at all but make the situation far worse.
Yeah.
Okay. That was going to be way cooler. I apologize. Sometimes you win, and sometimes his voice box is in the ball bag. Is in his ball bag. Jordan has some super diggy teeth. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. It means so much to me, guys. Hang out with me on this Tuesday night. I am going to go off and hang out with some friends. I appreciate you guys for subscribing. Make sure you hit that like button. And it means a lot to me. You guys take time out of your day to hang out with me. I hope you guys have a wonderful freaking night. Enjoy your night. And I will see you as soon as possible. May it be as soon as possible. But thank you guys for joining me. It means a lot. Those are you people watching on Rumble. I see you. I'm thankful for you guys. Thank you guys in the chat with Brandon Jr., John, Queen, and Willie for driving. I wonder, Wilson. I appreciate you guys. Kalon, you guys are fantastic peoples. I appreciate you guys. Been a pleasure. Hey, You guys are the best. Have a wonderful night. It's that time of the season that there's parties in the air. Have a great night. Love every single one of you guys. Okay. Tell your friends and family about this show. I would greatly freaking appreciate that. Okay. Goodbye, my friends. See you later. Bye-bye.